Right now, the U.S. Supreme Court's weighing a case that could directly impact one of the biggest pieces of President Trump's economic legacy, the tariffs enacted under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, better known as IEEPA. Some companies will see a major boost, others, not so much. I've reviewed the data, the historical performance, and current market scans, and I want to talk to you about who stands to win and who stands to lose if the ruling drops. Hey, Tom Gentile here, America's Pattern Trader. Welcome back to the channel. Have I got a pattern for you? It's not technical. It's not seasonal. This one is more based on economics. It's what I call a tariff pattern. So, as I said before, the Supreme Court's weighing in on the power of the executive branch when it comes to the latest tariff moves by the president. These tariffs stretch across nearly every sector of the American economy: technology, autos, retail, energy, and more. And they were billed as a shield for the American industry, but they've also added significant costs to companies that are dependent on global supply chains. Now, after weeks of legal maneuvering, the justices may be preparing to strike some or even all of these tariffs down. And if the analysts are right, the ripple effect is coming straight for the stock market. Now, if the court rolls back these tariffs or reduces IEEPA's authority, it'll be a major win for companies that have been absorbing these higher import costs. And that list is long. Let's talk about the winners first. So I've got a list of what I call the top 10 winners here. When you look at these, and the order that they're in right now is order of what I call strongest to weakest. I'll get back to that in a second. They include companies like Wayfair, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Walmart, Meta, Home Depot, Nike, and Restoration Hardware. So, think about names for a moment when you look at this list. Nike, Restoration Hardware. These companies live and die by their global sourcing models. When tariffs went up, the margins got squeezed. Apple, Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, these companies are already kicking it this year, but they rely on components and manufacturing in China and overseas markets. So, supply chain costs come down. That means it's going to help their profit even more. Home Depot and Walmart, well, they stand to gain because most people don't think of them as tariff sensitive, but these retailers move huge volumes of imported goods, and lower duties mean wider spreads. So a look at Wayfair. Wayfair has actually tripled in value in less than 6 months. What's going on here? Well, they've had a couple of great earnings reports, and they've been really good at changing their model around. Stock's gone from $35 to $115. A tariff reduction on this stock should spike the price even higher. Now, all the way to the bottom of my winners list is Restoration Hardware. Interesting enough, it's down 40% here in just the last 6 months, actually even the last 3 months since Labor Day. Next earnings are December 11th. Nobody's expecting much from this one. But again, we're talking about something that's been really hit by the tariff reductions and the tariffs that are in place. Bottom line is, if your business imports goods or materials, cheaper access means better margins, stronger earnings, and in many cases, fresh investor attention. Now, that's the winners. Let's talk about the losers for a moment, because not everyone's going to win when these tariffs go away. The companies that I want to show you now have been shielded by global competition. These are ones that have benefited most from a closed-off trade environment, which means if the tariffs come off, it could hurt these companies. Here are my top 8 that could stand to lose if the tariffs come off. And again, we're talking about names like General Motors, Ford Motor, Nucor, Alcoa, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, United Healthcare Group, and Humana. So taking a look at these and kind of grouping them out a bit, Nucor and Alcoa, well, they've been propped up by tariffs made by foreign metal and making foreign metal more expensive. So if that protection disappears, they're going to feel the pressure pretty fast. Same goes for Ford and GM. These companies have enjoyed a temporary moat when tariffs hit imported auto parts. Now, those costs could get wiped away, and if they do, expect foreign competitors to start pricing aggressively, which means Ford and GM could drop in value. And then there's defense and aerospace. That's Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin. Again, they could cool down the momentum as well. And then, of course, healthcare like Humana and United Health. Well, if the broad market shifts away from these safe havens, they could lag in the pack as well. Now, let's take a look at the best and worst performers so far on this list. And I'm talking about General Motors and Humana. Let's start with GM. So GM has really bolted ahead of the pack so far as a company, but with its stock price going up, and recently off that great earnings report that they had, it's gone up nearly 50% in just 6 months. Now, if we see these tariffs come off, we could see a turnaround again if the U.S. Supreme Court rules against these tariffs. The worst of the bunch, Humana. So Humana is off 80% in the last year. And when you look at this chart here on the board, it's pretty much going sideways. But, you would think a company like Humana would be jumping right now with healthcare prices set to soar this year. But that has not been the case with this particular stock. Again, and I'm expecting if tariffs come off, that these companies could even slump where, for instance, if we're looking at GM, it could have a turnaround. If we're looking at Humana, like we're looking at now, just a continued move to the downside. So what am I doing with this information that I have right now? Well, I'm not betting the farm on this Supreme Court decision, but you can understand when you take a look at a ruling like this, these sectors can move first and they can move pretty fast. So right now I'm monitoring long call setups and even leaps across the heavy winners. And at the same time, I'm also looking at bullish or bearish reversals and breakdown signals among the tariff protected names that could drop in value. While the headlines focus on the politics, I'm going to continue to focus on the patterns. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, and stay ahead for the next move. I'll see you then.